Hi there, my name is Linda, and I've been asked to make this video about why the National Stuttering Association and Friends, the young people who stutter, are both such amazing organizations. Well, that is very easy to explain. When you walk in the first day and you see 400 plus children who have spent their whole lives in total silence, and 400 adults who have never had the courage to go through a drive-through or to use a phone or to speak in public. It's silence. You would think with 800 people in one room that you could hear, that you wouldn't be able to hear yourself think. And in fact, you can hear a pin hit the floor. But by the end of the time the conference is done, you can't. A Mack truck could come like crashing through the front door of the conference room and you wouldn't be able to hear it. To see kids who have spent their whole lives quiet, too ashamed to talk, too ashamed, to raise their hand in school, too ashamed of their stuttering and too embarrassed by their stuttering, to be up, at 2 a.m., just like, just talking and laughing and, for the first time in their lives, their stuttering doesn't matter. And for the adults, when you're an adult who stutters, you're faced every day with so many misconceptions, like some of the things that I've had said to me about the fact that I stutter is, why don't you go smoke another one? Or you need to pass whatever you're smoking. Or one time I was in line at the grocery store and I began to stutter. And some guy started to make fun of me. And this little old lady behind me, was like, you should not be making fun of somebody that has Tourette's. It was like, oh, thank you for standing up for me, but I don't have Tourette's, And so people these days, they just don't understand that someone can just stutter and that it's okay. And so to walk in, so to live your whole life facing misconceptions and being too afraid to go through the drive-thru at McDonald's because you're going to get stuck in front of that god-awful speaker. And the people behind you in line, they're going to start to honk and they're going to start to, yell things out their car at you, and it just makes you feel horrible. So you just avoid that situation altogether. But then you come across, a whole huge group of people who feel the same way, okay? And then during the conference, you decide, you know what? We are powerful in numbers, so we're going to go to a drive-thru. And so you do, Several dozen people who stutter decide to pile in several cars and go up to McDonald's and order through the drive-thru. And when people, of course, begin to honk, you know what? You've got people that are there, that are just like you, that are like, what? stop honking. You know what? What the hell do you want? What, is your horn broken? Do you need to see a mechanic? And so just to experience things for the first time in your life, you know, with backup is just absolutely amazing, you know. It is a very powerful feeling. And that's what conferences do. It's not just about talking. It's just not just about sharing feelings. You know, it's about people who have already embraced their stuttering, going out with people, you know, who haven't yet, and saying, you know what, you can do this too, and I'm right by your side. So, I mean, to be a part of a stuttering group, and to be part of a stuttering conference, and to meet other people who stutter, is just the most amazing thing. I mean, for a small child who has never met anybody else who stutters before, and who is sitting there thinking, I am just absolutely different, okay? To see, you know, like a firefighter walk in, okay? Somebody that this child idolizes, okay? And then this firefighter begins to speak. And the child is like, oh my God, my hero is just like me. I mean, to see the look on this child's face is just absolutely amazing. Okay, because this child kind of goes from to stuttering is so cool, you know. And the fire chief for one of the fire departments in Chicago, he stutters, and he goes to pretty much every conference because his son also stutters, and his son has been to pretty much every conference. And just to see the way the kids who stutter just sit there and stare at him, you know, like, this is the coolest thing ever. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing, you know. There is a police officer who stutters. There's a man who is a professional chef. His name is Mark Verde. He's been on the Food Network. He stutters. And several years ago, he was a guest at the Friends Conference. And it was the most amazing thing, you know, because to see this man who has, you know, reached for his dream, you know, it is so awesome to see. You'll meet therapists who are not like the therapist you had in school as a kid. These are therapists who work in colleges. So they have devoted their whole lives to stuttering. Okay? I mean, solely to stuttering. Okay? It's not like the speech therapist, you know, that you have in schools, you know, that deal with a, you know, broad range of things. These people are like, we love stuttering. And to see a speech therapist who completely understands why you talk the way you do, because stuttering is their passion and their life, and it's what they actually do for a living, it is totally amazing. And one of my absolute favorite speech therapists of all time, her name is Patty Walton. She gets stuttering in a way that not many speech therapists I've met, and believe me, I've met a lot, she seems to get it. Okay? She seems to understand. When I first came to her, I stuttered 99% of the time. And you know what? And she didn't teach me to stop stuttering. She taught me to stutter well. And that's what I do. I never stopped stuttering. I just accepted it. I became okay with it. And I learned speech techniques to help me. People may think because they're not listening to me stutter that I don't stutter. Sorry, cat. But in fact, I do. And I'm using speech tools like stretching, and which is my absolute favorite thing. And as you've probably noticed, when I do begin to stutter, I don't, oh my God, I'm stuttering. I just kind of roll with it. And that's one thing that she taught me. Her goal is not to make you stop stuttering. Her goal is to make it so when you do begin to stutter, it's, okay, whatever. I'm just going to roll right through it, you know. I'm not going to let this stutter just, oh my God, I'm stuttering, no. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, okay, you know. And you're going to meet absolutely amazing people like that. And you're going to meet amazing people who stutter, and you're going to have the opportunity to help future generations who stutter, because there are a lot of students who are going to school for speech and language therapy that actually go to these conferences. And they go to these conferences because they want to be the kind of speech therapists that are passionate about stuttering. And so they go to these conferences and they sit down and they talk with the people who stutter, and they get just this huge, you know, amount of information that just, and so when they go into the workforce, you know, in the future, you're going to have an impact on the child or children that they are going to be in therapy with, because you've given them tips. You've had an opportunity to sit down with them and say, hey, I had speech therapy as a kid. This worked. This didn't work. This is my suggestion. And they're going to take all of that input and they're going to put it into their future jobs. I mean, that's why they show up to these conferences. I mean, they're not people who stutter, but they're people who want to help people who stutter. And they're so passionate about it that they're just trying to seek as much information as they possibly can. And it is just, and it's absolutely amazing, you know, to know that you're going to have an impact on future people who stutter, you know, because you trained their speech therapist. It's as simple as that. You had a hand in training their speech therapist. And that is an amazing feeling, you know, to know that all the mistakes that were made with you in speech therapy as a kid, some other kid is not going to have to deal with, because you've had the ability to go, okay, look, been down this road, this is what worked, this is what didn't. And another